And I
Well, and
think part of it
because
too is the lack of awareness of fetal development, right?
here we
Because
go.
as adults, we're sober again within a few hours,
That's right.
right? Especially if we were drinking while we were eating a meal,
Uh-huh.
right? Then we don't feel intoxicated for very long. So we tend to think it was just a short thing for the baby. Baby will be fine. But even though the baby forms its liver at the end of the first by the end of the first month, not the enzymes that break alcohol down. Those don't come into play until late in the 8th month.
There we
So
go.
so that alcohol remains in the baby for a long time.
Acetaldehyde
That's long
sitting in
time.
their system, and it is deadly. Yeah.
So the mother's sober, the baby's still drunk, and that alcohol is still causing damage to that baby's developing cells.
Right, right.
This
Yeah,
is a
which
very critical point you brought up, Patty, because honestly, if that were common knowledge, besides just the effects of looking at one another as adults and seeing are they drunk or not, if that was understood, if people could
Mm.
see what was going on in that gestation as easily as they can look at one another and show concern if someone appears to have overindulged, it would change things a lot in a group if that could be visually seen, but it's not seen. And it isn't seen by women who are ingesting either. I go back to this study, actually in Ira Chasnoff's study. Part of how he was doing the studies were there was a center where there were women who were participating in his study, and some of the staff at the center invited women to draw themselves and their baby. And these were women who were in a recovery program, and they drew the baby outside of their own body. So there was a disconnect already in the women between who they were and
Mm.
who this is,
So,
which is very interesting because that disconnect also, I mean, it says a lot.
and yet at the same time, I can find a positive in that, insofar as those women are identifying that the baby is his or her own person.
At least there is this. I don't know if that's what they're identifying.
Mm.
What I know is their experience is that there's a disconnect.
so
There's a disconnect.